The sky over the Orkney Islands in Scotland, a windswept expanse of land rich in Neolithic remains, has always held secrets. However, Dr. Alistair MacLeod, a geophysicist from the University of Edinburgh, never imagined that the biggest secret would be hidden 200 meters beneath his feet. During the summer, MacLeod was conducting ultra-high-depth electrical resistivity mapping, a project funded by the Scottish Government to understand the stability of the bedrock beneath key UNESCO World Heritage sites, such as the Ring of Brodgar and the village of Skara Brae. Give it a like, subscribe, and share. Let's begin. MacLeod's study area extended along the western coast of the mainland, a region that had been assumed to be geologically quiet and archaeologically sterile beyond Iron Age remains. Using a new Muon Tomography system, a technique that uses cosmic particles to see through rock, MacLeod's data began to show an anomalous signature at a depth that defied all logic. At 120 meters deep, just beneath the layer of sedimentary rock from the old red sandstone period, the team detected not an air pocket or an ore vein, but an organized structure of surprising density and geometric regularity. The anomaly extended in a grid pattern over an area of at least 1 square kilometer, much larger than any known Stone Age or Bronze Age settlement in the British Isles. Dr. Fionnuala O'Connell, an archaeologist on the team specializing in Pictish and Neolithic culture, was the first to react. Impossible, Dr. MacLeod. There are no vestiges of a civilization of that scale in that period. The geological pressure at that depth would not allow the preservation of a structure, and simply, there is no reason for anyone to excavate that deep in Scottish history. Dr. MacLeod, with his geological pragmatism intact, spent 8 months conducting additional soundings from 9 different points. Every muon reading and every radar pulse confirmed the existence of a buried city that defied all geological, historical, and technological explanation. The initial consensus was that the city not only existed, but from the pattern of the muon signature, appeared empty, intact, and hermetically sealed. 1. The impossible access and the obsidian dome. The logistics for accessing the subterranean city became a civil engineering project of national scale. The government of the United Kingdom took control, classifying the site as a Level 5 geophysical risk zone. Drilling began at a secluded coastal location using modified oil drilling equipment for high archaeological sensitivity. At 150 meters deep, the drill encountered a layer of material that was not natural rock. It was a synthetic compound of molten basalt and carbon fibers that geologists determined had been poured or projected as a massive protective lining. Finally, at 200 meters, the drill bit penetrated the final layer, and the drilling equipment stopped. Sensors indicated that the bit was suspended over a gigantic cavity. The air that emanated from the borehole was warm, dry, and smelled intensely of ozone and crystallized sea salt. Dr. O'Connell was the first to descend in an adapted exploration capsule. The light from her spotlight illuminated an artificial chamber of an overwhelming scale. The ceiling was a perfectly polished monolithic stone vault, and beneath it stretched the city of Orkney, the impossible architecture. The city extended in a concentric pattern reminiscent of pond ripples. The architecture was in a style that Dr. O'Connell had only seen in sketches of theoretical Atlantean cities or in late medieval fantasies. The materials. Most of the structures were built with grey sandstone and obsidian, a volcanic glass not native to Orkney, assembled without mortar, using a resonance interlocking technique so perfect that not even a knife blade could be inserted between the blocks. The structure showed a structural integrity that had allowed it to withstand thousands of years of geological pressure and seismic movements. The central dome, the center of the city, was dominated by a large, translucent obsidian dome, about 80 meters in diameter. This dome was not supported by columns. It seemed to float above a perfectly still base of water underneath. The jet-black obsidian emitted a soft internal glow that suggested a source of inactive light or energy. Dr. O'Connell's first conclusion was relayed to the surface. This is not Neolithic. This is not Celtic. It is not Roman. This is a completely unknown civilization that possessed a knowledge of geometry and thermodynamics that surpasses our own. 2. The dating and the chronology of the escape. The initial dating of the few organic remains found in the chamber's air, pollen spores and micro-remnants of wood, was the first devastating blow to European history. The period of existence. Carbon-14 and thermoluminescence dating laboratories in 3 countries, Scotland, Germany, and Norway, converged on a shocking date. The city was built and occupied between 12,000 and 13,500 years ago. This placed the city of Orkney in the Upper Pleistocene, the final period of the last ice age. The city existed at a time when the British Isles were connected to the European continent by the emerged land of Doggerland, but were surrounded by massive glaciers and subject to an extreme climate. Give it a like, subscribe, and share. Historical challenge. The date destroyed the narrative that the British Isles were first colonized after the end of the Ice Age by hunter-gatherers from continental Europe. It suggested that a technologically advanced society existed in northern Scotland before civilization began in Sumer or Egypt. The seal and the intention. Analysis of the basalt and carbon fiber seal revealed that the chamber did not collapse. It was intentionally sealed. The coating was applied at a time when the city was already empty, indicating that the builders abandoned the site rather than being destroyed by a disaster. The hypothesis of Dr. MacLeod and Dr. O'Connell was revolutionary. This city was a climate refuge, or a knowledge center for a pre-glacial civilization that foresaw the end of the Ice Age and the massive flooding of the emerged land of Doggerland due to rising sea levels. The builders sealed themselves in for the duration of the climatic event, or escaped. 3. The City Archive and the Technology of Light. The exploration of the city's interior structures revealed a level of social organization and technology that defied modern comprehension. The Crystal and Obsidian Library. The central obsidian dome was a library or archive. It was filled with shelves containing thousands of tablets not of clay or stone, but of quartz crystal carved with nanometric precision. Data storage. The crystal tablets were covered with microscopic engravings of geometric symbols and mathematical formulas. Dr. MacLeod and the team of physicists determined that the crystal was not just a writing material, but an optical storage device that used light refraction to encode large volumes of information. The library was not one of scrolls. It was a crystal data library from the Ice Age. The content, light physics. The information deciphered by a team of cryptographers at Cambridge University revealed a deep knowledge of plasma physics, resonance energy generation, and, most critically, a unified theory of space-time that used coherent light, laser, as a vector for energy and communication. The city had not been powered by burning wood or coal. Its energy came from harnessing ocean power through tidal resonance and converting sunlight using the obsidian, which acted as a photovoltaic semiconductor. The gentle glow that Dr. O'Connell had noticed was not artificial light, but the latent energy of the system. The central artifact, the transmission stone. Beneath the obsidian dome, at the exact center of the city, the team found the central artifact, a large green jasper stone, about 2 meters high, carved into the shape of a dodecahedron, a 12-sided polyhedron. The stone pulsed with a soft ultrasonic vibration detected by the sensors. Dr. MacLeod theorized that the jasper stone was the city's tuning point or transmitter. The dodecahedron was the geometry of consciousness, and the jasper, rich in silica crystals, acted as a natural resonator for the Schumann frequency, the Earth's fundamental frequency. The builders, the guardians of light, as they were called in the crystal tablets, not only lived on Earth, but tuned their consciousness to the planet's energy. 4. Europe's reaction and the geopolitical secret. The finding of an advanced Ice Age civilization beneath Orkney was immediately reported to the British Prime Minister's Cabinet Office and the European Commission. The reaction was one of total suppression and militarization, the fear of historical dislocation. The primary fear of European governments and the historical establishment was the collapse of the Eurocentric narrative of civilization. Origins of civilization. The discovery shifted the origin of high technology and agriculture from Sumer and the Fertile Crescent, about 6,000 to 8,000 years ago, to northern Europe and the Pleistocene, 12,000 years ago, suggesting that modern civilization was a belated rediscovery of lost knowledge. The human lineage. The bone remains found on the outskirts of the city, the only remains that could be dated, showed a genetic profile that did not correlate with the known lineage of the first settlers of Europe or Native American tribes. It suggested a completely unknown and extinct human lineage, or a parallel branch that had possessed advanced technology. The British government classified the finding as a secret for energy dominance, not as an archaeological discovery. The manipulation of memory. The fate of the city of Orkney was sealed by an intergovernmental decision. The official version. The site was closed and classified, with the cover story that it was a geological reserve for the storage of low-level nuclear waste. The geological danger was used to justify the permanent military perimeter. The technology. The Quartz Crystal Data Storage Technology, Coherent Light Physics, and Resonance Energy System were secretly transferred to NATO research facilities in Brussels and the National Physical Laboratory in London. The goal was not historical preservation, but reverse engineering for energy and military advantage. Dr. O'Connell and Dr. MacLeod, the discoverers, were forced into total silence. Their knowledge became the burden of a truth that would change the world, but which the world was not ready to accept. The city of Orkney, the cradle of an Ice Age civilization that defied all explanation, was buried again, and the knowledge that the history of Europe's and the world's civilization was an illusion of thousands of years was the darkest and most powerful secret ever guarded by the United Kingdom. From the moment they unearthed the first structures, O'Connell and MacLeod felt they were touching a thread of history that could unravel centuries of established narratives. The inscriptions on the rocks, the sophisticated tools, and the remnants of artifacts revealed a culture that had not only survived, but had thrived in a hostile environment. However, the reaction of the authorities was immediate and fierce. A group of government officials appeared at the site, warning the researchers that their work had to remain a secret under the threat of severe consequences. Give it a like, subscribe, and share.